Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Dear Man. I thought Prissy was going to give the introduction, but she has decided to retire from the job. No, resign from the job. Right. So, um, guys, if you want Prissy to pick up the job she has dropped, please let us know, and then we'll get Prissy across to be introducing the topic. Okay, so it's great to come your way this nice Saturday morning, no, afternoon. We yet another episode of the but Prissy is looking at me like, yeah, go ahead. And I'm waiting for you to make mistakes. Anyway, so thanks for joining us. So today we have Prissy with us. Prissy, do you want to introduce yourself? Okay. Prissy is all silent today, no talk. She's just going to be watching us. Okay. So, as usual, let's do the drill. Please go out there, share the feed, and then we can get started. I guess Prissy will do that one. You're going to share the feed, right?
Yeah,
Okay, okay, yeah. So,
easy
let,
peasy.
that one is easy peasy. Okay. Let's share the feed and get going. So, we live. I hope everything is going well wherever you are. If you're an Arsenal fan, I know it's not so funny for you, but hey, life happens. So just keep going. Okay, and we would get going. I don't see this one. Okay, so let me just share the feed as it is, and we get going. So again, the moment you come in, let us know that you're with us so we can draw you into the conversation. And we always appreciate you joining us on these episodes. Okay, we have a rather interesting topic to discuss today. Let me see if I got the topic. So, um, rebuilding self trust. Now, we're not even talking about rebuilding trust in the person who hurt you, right? Is being able to build trust in yourself. Like, for example, you go through some patches of life and things happen, and it's more like, are you able to carry yourself up and then get going? And that's what we want to delve in today. Like in the football scenario, you would see that there are teams that really struggle, and there's a lot expected from them, right? Like you take a team like Arsenal, for example, they struggle to go through a season, and a lot of people are expecting a lot more from them. Are they able to build trust in themselves and go again?
Is
Hope
it like confidence or trust?
yes, so confidence in themselves, but it gets to a point. So yeah, we can talk about it as confidence, but it gets to a point you can't even trust yourself to give it another shot, right? I guess that was where the angle the question was coming from. Hopefully, in the football scenario, hopefully Arsenal will not gain that confidence to get going. But today we're talking about relationships. Let's stick to that. Okay, so especially in the area of relationships, right? People and I actually had a discussion with someone on this week, so it's quite surprising that this topic is coming up. Um, People tend to not know what contributes to how they act or how they behave. Do you get it in their life? So, for example, in your current life, you might be behaving in a certain way, or you might be approaching issues in a certain way, and you would actually not know it is because of something you've been through, right? Like more like PTSD. So, when you go through a certain sort of trauma or you go through a certain sort of betrayal and all, it has an impact on you. It has an effect on you. Most times we don't really think about it that way, right? You see, we don't, w- especially for a society that is not really introspective or reflective, you wouldn't even know that that is what has caused that. And let me digress a bit. This week, I was having a discussion with a friend of mine, and the one I said is way older than me, in his 60s, but I mean, he's my friend. We were having a discussion, and he mentioned something. We're talking about people who end up in infidelity and so on and so forth. Then he said, for most of those people, there's been some sort of abuse when they were young, and they've not been able to deal with such trauma, and that is what actually ends up in infidelity. It doesn't mean it's for everyone, but for most people, especially the women, right? And it is very true, right? Sometimes things happen earlier in our lives, and because they've not been dealt with in the right way, we end up manifesting in different ways that we are even not able to link to whatever whatever was the problem in the past. So I think that the first thing you need to do to come up with such self-confidence or be able to trust in yourself again is to understand the root cause of whatever um, caused the issue in the first place, right? If you can go do a deep dive and understand what was the cause of the issue, that alone gives you a lot of confidence going forward. You know that, oh, I know this was the root cause, right? So if it is an issue on my part and I can correct it, I can tell myself that, hey, I'm able to do that. Prissy, do you agree with that?
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because knowing the root cause is like a problem half solved.
Yeah,
Just like maybe you have some symptoms of some diseases
yeah,
and you go to the hospital, they are not able to give you a definite diagnosis.
mm,
It's hard.
yeah,
But then if you know that okay, this is a terminal illness and non-terminal illness, and they are able to give you a diagnosis, then you can now work towards a solution. So once you know the cause of
yeah,
the reason why you are in a certain state, and then you can work towards solving your problems. Yeah,
absolutely.
so let's say for instance, like we're saying, building trust after being betrayed.
Yeah,
So you were probably in a relationship. I won't say that most of the time. I don't say that somebody cheating um is due to you, because people will cheat if they want to, and people
yeah,
decide to cheat if they don't
yeah,
want to anyway. They'll cheat on you anyway.
yeah,
But sometimes too, you can push. Some people can push
right, yeah,
people to cheat, right? So um if you also look at the situation and you are able to recognize that I was also a contribution to that, maybe in your next moment or the next time you will try and change certain things about how you do things,
right,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, I think that finding the root cause is also because, for instance, men would want to be with people who will give them their peace of mind.
mm,
And maybe you are a woman that is always nagging, right? And so the person finds somebody who is like the opposite of you. The the man might be attracted to the other person.
right,
Yeah, so you are sort of pushing this man away from you,
yeah,
and maybe it ends up in something
yeah,
else. That probably wasn't his intention.
right,
So if you realize that you are that type of a woman, um, the man has no excuse anyway.
yeah,
It's either he breaks up with you for me, I would rather prefer that a man breaks up with you and then moves on than still remains in a relationship with you and then goes to cheat on you, because it has a ripple effect on you.
Right.
Yes, so I think that for a lot of women, we have to also try and do the root cause analysis.
Yeah.
Yeah, the man might have cheated, but how did we contribute? Or how, like, is there anything that I did that I could have done? Like anything I could have done to prevent
Better.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah. There are some that you can't, like, there's nothing,
Yeah.
absolutely nothing. Some people just cheat because they want to cheat.
Yeah.
But it's not in all scenarios. In
Right.
some scenarios, some women are like actually the drivers. So we can also reflect and then um think about it. And sometimes we have friends around who tell us that certain characters we have um are not helpful to us, but we ignore it, and we are like, this is how I am, and this is, and it is affecting us in our relationships, it's affecting us in our marriages. And sometimes we need to pay attention to those things they say. It might not be something trivial like we think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And I think that again, when you join us, shoot a hello, shoot a hi, so we know you there. Again, just as Pretty was saying, if you do a root cause analysis and you realize that, okay, this wasn't something that was necessarily from me, and you can only get to that point if you are very, very transparent with yourself. I mean, if you can lie to everyone else, but you would be making a big mistake if you lie to yourself, right? So if you can be very open to yourself and know that, oh, whatever happened, I had a part to play in it, then next time you are helping yourself not to get into a similar situation. If through the root cause analysis you realize that no, it was not something I had control over, what that does is usually if you have a part to play, it's easier actually because there are measures you can put in place to correct that. But if it is someone else, because you don't necessarily have control over someone else, that is more difficult. But at least if you get to the point where you know that this wasn't something I actually contributed to, what it does is that it frees you up. And that is also one very important step to take to gain that self confidence or build that trust to go at it again, right? So, if you get to the point where you know that okay, um, I have done the RCA and I've seen that it wasn't me and I couldn't have done anything about it. At least as you go into the next relationship or you take the next step, you are looking to see if this new person has that particular trait that led to the initial issues, right? So it puts you in a well prepared state, right, where you can go in with more confidence. Because truth be told, hey, Ogaki, good to have you. Truth be told, um, in most relationships are interesting, okay? Because you can't say you would be prepared for whatever you would face in a relationship. It's just like life. Like you just pray to God that your path is ordered so that you are diverted or you don't get to meet wicked and unreasonable people, right? Because they exist. And so if you unfortunately end up meeting a wicked and unreasonable person, then it will be good to figure out okay, what was drawing you to that person, what could you have done differently, and so on and so forth. Then the next time you are more prepared than someone who is just entering the very first relationship, right? Because again, you can't be prepared for all that you would face in a relationship or in marriage or in and so on and so forth, right? as they come around, you deal with them. So I think that also helps a lot. Prissy, do you have anything else to
Hmm. Yeah, and sometimes I think that I have also seen people trying to endure relationships that will not take them far. Right?
Okay.
All the signs are there that there's a crack, there's a red flag. Even some of them marry them. They have they are with men that are cheating, having kids outside the marriage, and they are like, yeah, I'm still married. But eventually, the the marriage breaks up. The one party is like one party is married, the other party is outside,
Yeah.
and so you do everything to keep, like you try to do everything to keep the thing working, but because two of you are not committed,
Mm-hmm.
eventually it breaks down, and then you sometimes blame yourself, like I couldn't do much
Yeah.
to make it work. It's not you. You didn't do anything wrong. You tried everything. And I think there are even celebrity marriages like that. Like people are trying so hard. And you can obviously see that this thing is not leading anywhere, right? But the women or whoever is trying so hard to make it work,
Yeah.
right? And it doesn't work out well, and there's breakup. And sometimes the ladies go into depression and all that.
Oh, but the guys don't go
No,
into.
I mean if it is a man that
Yeah,
is,
but sometimes the
yeah,
ladies
sometimes
also. So the men
it's a
also go
woman,
into
and
depression.
sometimes they go into self-denial. They are still like, I could have done something for the
Yeah.
thing to have worked.
Yeah.
I think that if I'd done things this way, things would have worked better.
Yeah.
But anyone outside the relationship seeing what is happening knows that this thing will not work. It's like you are sitting on a time bomb. Eventually it will explode, right? And so there are a lot of broken people like that.
Mm.
A lot of people like that. And such people will also have to understand that there's nothing they could have done to make it work, because it's not every I always say that it is not every human that is marriageable. It's not everybody that was made to marry. And so if you
No,
have such,
it's marriage material.
yes,
Oh,
you are trying and forcing to make the marriage work, and it won't work. 'Cause let's say you have a spouse who is, and some of them don't even hide it from you. They let you know, I cannot be with um one woman, or I can't be with one man. I always have to have something to do with someone outside, right? And you know that the person has no commitment, nothing.
yeah.
This thing will not work, but you want it to work. Eventually it breaks down, and you are still blaming yourself that if I had done this way, or if I had handled things better, maybe this marriage would have worked out. You know, sometimes love is they say love is blind. No matter what the person does,
Yeah.
still love the person, but this thing will not work. So there are a lot of people also out of relationships or marriages like that, and they are still blaming themselves
Yeah.
for something that is no fault of theirs. It just will not work, right? Yeah, so I think that when they come to that realization that it wasn't meant to be, yeah, they can also heal. They can also heal.
Okay.
Yeah, because there are some people like that, they have split, and sometimes when they cast their mind back, oh, what if I had done this way?
Yeah.
Or maybe I had even begged this person to stay with me, or I had, it wouldn't have broken.
Yeah.
But it was broken from the start.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. I think another key point to help with this is to get out of your dreams, right? Get out of dreamland, get out of um try to leave yourself standing, walk some steps back, and take a good look at yourself, right? So what I mean is that most times we are I mean, because of whatever trauma, whatever we would have endured, it keeps us in a certain frame of mind. Okay. And if you don't take care, it's difficult to exit that train of thought or train of thinking. So, someone who has been betrayed, okay, might easily think that, okay, this is not something I can do because one man called Jeff did something to her. Or a man would say, this is not something I could do because someone called Ruth did something to him. But the reality is that life is not only made up of Jeffs and Ruths, right? There are correct people around, there are good people around. But till you can actually burst that bubble and come out of all that you've created around yourself, you wouldn't be able to see outside that. You wouldn't be able to know that the world is bigger than that small world where whatever happened happened, right? So it would be very, very good for us to take some time and come out of whatever space we've created where the whatever issue happened, right? So um if you think that, because sometimes what that does is that it keeps you to yourself. You can't get out of your shell. You feel everyone you see who is trying to be nice is there to do the same thing to you, right? I mean, it's just think about it. It's the picture that has been painted, and it's a picture that like is always playing in your mind. So you would need to really get out of it. For some people, therapy really helps. You go, you get to talk to people, and so on and so forth. For some people, it has to be like good friends who would help you through that journey, like carry you along, and so on and so forth. And sometimes it is really tough, like to carry someone through that. It is really really tough, but if God blesses you with good friends who would carry you through it, then you would be grateful to God. So um, always take a step back and see whatever bubble you've created around yourself just because of a trauma or some issue that has happened, and really, really work at breaking out of it. And that is one good way to overcome that and build confidence for your next steps. Yeah. Prissy, do you have?
Yeah, I think that's like you said, for introverts too, it's very hard. Like people who hardly make friends and like don't go out
Yeah.
and all that. Sometimes it's okay just to go and sit at a coffee shop, even if it's by yourself, and see what is going on. You may probably meet somebody new or something, or move to an environment where you are it's not a familiar territory,
Yeah.
so that you can mingle with, because sometimes too it is just the same old faces that are around,
Yeah.
and you feel like they are all like the same,
Yeah.
right? So sometimes you just have to move beyond your comfort zone and
Yeah.
try something new, and
Yeah.
like talk to somebody,
Yeah.
even if that's what I like about the I will say in America, you can meet somebody today, right? You don't know the person from anywhere. You have never met the person, but the person can tell you everything about themselves.
Yeah.
You would even know their vices and their whatever
Yeah.
in one day. And I think that is liberating to most people,
Yeah.
because if they are alone, maybe they are alone in their house, they don't have people to talk to. But
Mm.
as soon as they meet you, they're able to talk. It frees them of a lot.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, sometimes you just need to find somebody, talk to, make new friends and all that. Because I know a lot of people who have had broken hearts and
Mhm.
they are by themselves. They don't even want people close to them.
Yeah.
And it's sort of, people also try to shun away. And it's like everybody is, yeah, this person had, sometimes you even hear gossip rumors that, oh, this person is like that because somebody broke their heart. And then you see there are some peculiar like traits too. such people like alone, they are working alone, they don't have friends, you don't see them with anyone, they just want to be by themselves. So that one too is very detrimental.
Yeah.
And you have to be open, make friends. Sometimes you even have friends that can link you to your prospective new partner or something.
Yeah.
So you just have to try and open up. It's not easy, but that is what can help you break that bubble,
Yeah.
that isolation.
Yeah. And I think you mentioned something very important, that such people who end up being alone and all. Support Liverpool. You never walk alone. Like you always have. If you go and support a very bad team that would make you feel more lonely, then you are in more trouble. Okay, so that's just by the way on a lighter note. Yeah, but I think that is a very good point. Now, in terms of trying to get someone to speak to, right? I get it. You need to be cautious about that, right? Because again, not everyone is able to handle some things. At that moment, you are very vulnerable, right? So you could be taking in information and really soaking it in. If it is bad information, it will lead you to take worse decisions than whatever has happened, right? So at that point, you should. I am hoping that amongst your friends, you have very good people, trusted people you could speak to. Then that way, you are not digging a deeper hole for yourself. You try to get someone who can actually snatch you from whatever hole you find yourself in. So these are a few of the critical steps we can take to make sure that we can bounce back from whatever betrayal we've been in, build a solid front to go at it again. In summary, or to cap it all, what I would also want to point out to is, if you see someone who has maybe a lot of friends or has traveled a lot, their perspective about life is very different. They have a, so think about it. You are in your corner somewhere and you think that life has dealt very badly with you, right? And you go all the way to say somewhere in Korea, and you go see that none of them even know about you. None of them are even thinking about you and your so-called problems. None, like no one really knows you are going through all that you're going through. Then you see that the world is bigger than whatever problems we think we have. That is keeping us really bottled up and so morose and all that. It tells us that life is bigger out there, right? So get out of that bubble, believe God to see life in a different perspective, and then give it a shot. Again, that single person called Jeff who broke your heart shouldn't be the whole world to you. I know when you were courting, you said, or when you were in a relationship, or when you met fresh, you said you mean the whole world to me. Yeah, yeah, I know. He meant a certain world to you, please. But there are other worlds, right? Even planets, we don't just have Earth to be on, right? So all I'm saying is that allow yourself to get out of whatever world you've created around you and let go out there. Someone else can be your world, and a better world at that, right? So um I think that we've maybe thrown out 4 or 5 very good points that should be able to help us overcome all that. Prissy, I don't know if you have anything to add to it before we close for the day.
Well, so in summary,
Mhm.
yes, we can. still start our life after we've been betrayed. Like
Yeah.
we can rebuild our life with
Yeah.
new people.
Yeah.
We don't have to make that past failure. Some people will call it failure. Be the reason why we continue to fail.
Maybe past experience. Yeah.
So yeah, for all you know, the person that's even betrayed you is not even thinking about you any longer, has moved on, is doing so well. And sometimes we have that mentality that once somebody betrayed us, the person
things will not go well for them.
Things will not go well for them.
It's a big lie.
No, maybe the relationship wasn't meant to be in the first place. So the person rather goes to betray you, and things might go on like it will be
maybe
better.
You were the problem in the person's life.
Sorry.
Oh God.
Yeah, so people sit there and all their thoughts is that and things won't go well for you, and you are always cursing the person. My friend, don't waste your time. Use that time that you pray to curse that person to pray for yourself to progress, right? And move on. Yeah. So because once you are still dwelling on that past, it means that you have not moved on or you've not forgiven. And yeah, so use that time to rather build yourself, pray for yourself that things would work in your favor. You'd meet more favorable people and not those wicked and unreasonable men. Yeah, you just
and women don't.
Men and women.
Yes.
Like in the
I
Bible,
know.
the
Yes.
stands
Yes,
for
but we have
man
to be
and
very
woman.
clear about it that men and women we can't just leave it to chance. Thank you.
So hopefully,
Yeah.
once we are able to do that, yes, other doors or better opportunities will open for us.
Yeah.
And then we can find happiness later in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. So let us know what you think about this. If you have any other inputs in this on this topic, let us know. And thanks for also bringing the topics across. Thank you so much for joining us for today's episode. It's time to draw down the curtains, and we'll get back to you next week with yet another episode. Always remember that no two relationships are the same. Thank you. Cheers and bye for now. If you're an Arsenal fan, cheers as well.